उल्लंघ्य सिंधोः सलिलं सलीलं यशोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनैव ददाह लंकां नमामितं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम् आसाध्य साधक स्वामिन् आसाध्यं तव किं वद रामधूत कृपा सिंधो मत्कार्यं साधय प्रभो. We have been relishing the wonderful, wondrous exploits of Hanuman as he journeyed across the ocean and reached Lanka. Now, one may have a question. Are Hanuman's exploits, his encounters with Mainaka, Surasa, Simhika, Lankini, are these encounters centered on the glorification of violence? Are they? You must understand, they are in fact glorification of virtues. Hanuman embodies many virtues: thoughtfulness, truthfulness, humility, selfless servitude, commitment to the mission. Now, one such virtue that he has been demonstrating is his peerless prowess to punish the wrongdoers and thereby deter potential wrongdoers. Hanuman is not the reason for violence to occur. Hanuman is the reason for violence to end. In Sundarakanda, Hanuman in Sarga 4 begins his exploration of Lanka. After taming Lankini, Hanuman begins his tour of Lanka, and Valmiki captures that very moment, that very first step, because they say the first step of any journey is so very significant. Valmiki captures that very moment. Pravishya nagarim lankam kapiraja hitam karaha chakrenata padam savyam shatrunam satu murdhani. It seems Hanuman, while entering, because he was about to embark on a mission against the enemies, placed his left foot first into the city. So there, it's very symbolic that he chooses to place his left foot first, because here he is going on a mission to destroy the enemies. But as Hanuman takes the first step, Valmiki also writes, Kapiraja hitam karaha. The starting point of success is selflessness. And Hanuman is an embodiment of that selflessness. Hanuman is beginning his tour of Lanka with only one thought, Kapiraja hitam karaha, for the sake of Sugriva's welfare. This is not his mission. It is Sugriva's mission. He starts his tour of Lanka on this principle of selflessness. Pravishtaha sattva sampannaha vishaya maurutatmajaha samahapatamastaya mukta pushpa virajitam tatastutam purim lankam ramyam abhiyayau kapihi. As Hanuman takes his first step into Lanka, again it is very symbolic that the highway that is greeting him into Lanka, it seems, is filled with flowers and pearls, as though welcoming Hanuman as he successfully enters Lanka. Hasita Utkrishta Ninadaihi Turya Ghosha Puraswaraihi Vajra Ankusha Nikashaihi Tavajra Jala Vibhushitaihi Gruhyamedaihi Puri Ramya Babhase Dhyau Iva Ambudaihi Puri Ramya Babhase Dhyau Iva Ambudaihi. It seems Lanka, the city, was magnificently beautiful, glowing like the sky together with the clouds. An astounding sight ahead for Hanuman. He had earlier looked at the city of Lanka from a distance. Now, as he enters the city, it is so very captivating. It is a city that is beyond his imaginations. Puri Ramyam Bhabase Dhyavivai Ambudaihi, magnificently glowing. And he listens to various sounds as he enters the city, sounds of intoxicated laughter all around, loud music from everywhere, from every nook and corner of the city. Now, as the night is approaching, as it's darkening, there is mist hung over the city, giving it a very mysterious, celestial look. The gold and diamonds embedded on all the walls of the various houses, on the doorways, on the windows, on the rooftops, enhance the opulence of the city. To Hanuman's surprise, the city was not only so very advanced, every house, every building was unique in its design. Different shapes of different types. The architecture was so very captivating. Tam Chitramalya Bharanam Kapiraja Hidam Karaha Raghavartam Charan Shriman Dadarshacha Nanandacha. Dadarshacha Nanandacha. Hanuman was delighted. Look at something which was so very attractive. Every direction he looked around presented something so very attractive. Dadarshata Nanandacha. It was so very tempting. The place was so very inviting. But Valmiki also says, Shriman, Hanuman, the glorious Hanuman. While it was tempting, Hanuman did not get stuck in one place. Raghavartham, and because Raghavartham Charan, because it was Raghava's mission and not a mission for his pleasure, Hanuman kept moving. For an ordinary mortal, it wouldn't have been possible to move along. One would have been so very tempted to just stay at one place, being captivated by the kind of wonder all around. Tam Chitramalya Bharanam. Every place was decorated. And Kapiraja Hitam Karaha Raghavartam Charan Shriman Tadashachananandacha. Hanuman but kept going. He was not tempted. He was not, even though it was so very captivating, he knows that it is not a pleasure trip. He is not there for sightseeing. So therefore, Hanuman kept going ahead. Shushrava Madhuram Geetam Tristana Swarabhushitam. Tristana Swarabhushitam. Another thing that we have seen before as well, and throughout Sundarakanda we will also see the beauty of the words being used, the way the shlokas are constructed. Exquisite garland of words, every shloka that we will see. And Valmiki, it seems, is also going along with Hanuman and is capturing whatever Hanuman's experiences are for us. Strinam Mada Samudhanam Divicha Apsarasam Iva Shushrava Madhuram Geetam Tristana Swarabhushitam. Sounds are flowing all around, and It seems the sounds are decorated with the three swaras. Mandaraswara, Madhyaswara, Taraswara, the lower octave, the middle octave, and the higher octaves. The kind of music only the Apsara Stris are known or renowned for. And when he looked around, the women in Lanka seemed to be like the Apsaras from Swarga. And the music was so very melodious, flowing from all over. Every house there was music. And Hanuman was so very captivated with this kind of music that was coming from every nook and corner. The intensity of nightlife in Lanka was very insane, so very intoxicating. And he could see that people were all enjoying their nightlife, drinking and dancing, moving to rhythm. All the Rakshasas he could see were having fun, were all having great time, and he could see clapping of arms, he could see the sounds of various footsteps, dancing to rhythm. Much of the city was immersed in revelry of all kinds. But then as he was progressing, he could also see some sections of the city. There was some kind of a secret business that was going on. He could suddenly hear the chanting of the Vedas and the chanting of some secret mantras. So it was not revelry everywhere. Some parts of the city, he could see that there were serious chanting that was going on. Swadhyaya niratam chaiva yatudhanam dhanashasaha Ravadastava samyuktan gajjataha rakshasanapi. Also, the chanting was like roaring. The Rakshasas chanting, it seems there were some really secret chanting of mantras are going on for the sake of prosperity of Ravana. And he also saw several spies of Ravana who were surrounding all important buildings and spread all over the highway. Luckily for Hanuman, he had taken a form of a small monkey. So as an innocent, curious monkey, he was roaming around the streets of Lanka, and he was able to enter every palace, every house. Hanuman was so very meticulous. He made a mental note of every little detail that he came across, registering every little detail, the kind of a building, the kinds of people who were guarding them, the security measures, the number of people, the kind of weapons, the kind of arms. Without being spotted by anyone, as he continued his exploration and analysis, evading the prying eyes of the spies of Ravana, he suddenly came across a shocking sight. Shatasahasram avyagram araksham madhyamam kapihi rakshodipati nirdeshtam nadarshanta purankrataha. Shatasahasram, 100,000, and a contingent of 100,000 Rakshasas, a massive army, humongous in size. He came across, they were all undergoing a drill of different kinds. Suddenly Hanuman discovered that this opponent is indeed a formidable enemy. And he quickly began to carefully take stock of all the Rakshasas who were carrying out the drill. But at the same time, the thought of a few Vanaras, a bunch of Vanaras, knowing that only few can actually cross over the ocean, the prospect of a small bunch of Vanaras facing this ocean of Rakshasas was a little bit unsettling for Hanuman. Hanuman observed the mighty contingent of the Rakshasas. Rakshasas of all kinds, of all sizes, of all shapes. And he saw that battalions were formed depending on the various attributes of the Rakshasas. The harsh-looking ones, the creepy ones, the scary ones, the ghastly ones, the ones with hideous deformities, the ones with unkempt hairstyles, formed different kinds of divisions. I'm sure Bahubali would have been inspired by the description in Ramayana. Divisions, various battalions of Rakshasas, and each of these battalions wielding all kinds of weapons, swords, clubs, pistols, javelins, maces, bow and arrows, all kinds of weaponry being displayed. And Hanuman sitting atop a wall and overlooking this army drill also turned around, and then he came across a structure that was possibly the most captivating. Satada griham drishta mahahataka thoranam rakshasendrasya vikyatam adrimurtri pratishtitam pundarikam avatam sambhi parikavira alankritam prakara avritam atyantam tadarshasa mahakapihi. He looked at a small hillock, and on top was a massive structure, Mahahataka Thoranam, a structure with great golden doorway, a massive archway leading into a structure, Adri Murdrini Pratishtitam, on top of a hillock that forms the inner city of Lanka. Now, as he now is crossing the outer city of Lanka, from atop the wall, he could get a glimpse of the inner city, and he could get a glimpse of a structure which was being led by a massive golden archway. This structure on top of a small mountain, again glowing. This structure being circled by a moat filled with lotus flowers, and also with a high wall surrounding it. And immediately Hanuman guessed that this should be Ravana's inner city. Trivishtanibham divyam divyanada vinaditam vajiheshitum sangrishtam naditam bhushanai tatha rataihi yanaihi vimanaicha tatha gajahaihi subheshubaihi varanaicha chatudghantaihi shweta ubrai nichaya upamaihi. Hanuman now secretly entered the inner city, Ravana's inner city, which was almost like a paradise, or even better than Swarga. And he could see again there the archways. There are different doorways leading into the inner city, and every doorway was different in design, and all the arches are made of rare metals with various precious gems embedded on them. And as Hanuman was looking around, he could see chariots of all sizes, of all shapes, elephants, palanquins, horses, all lined up in front of different doorways. He also noticed that the construction of this inner city was immaculate, following all Shilpa Shastras. Obviously, Vishwakarma possibly was taking a lot of care in coming up with the design, reflecting flawlessness, perfection, security, and sheer artistry. Hanuman was amazed that there could be a place like this. It was like a slice of Swarga on Bhuloka. So we could sometimes wonder, why is Valmiki describing Lanka in such a great detail? Shloka after shloka after shloka. Almost 2-3 sargas, Valmiki spends a great detail, describes Lanka. Why such a lengthy description of Lanka? We could wonder. You must understand that this whole description is happening as Hanuman is spending an excruciatingly painful night. The night is moving very slow for Hanuman. Until he finds Sita, every moment is like a year. So it is moving very slow. So therefore, Valmiki is also moving very slow with Hanuman. So every detail is not essentially trying to give the detail of Lanka. It is essentially to show how time is moving very, very, very slowly as Hanuman is painfully journeying through Lanka, trying to discover Sita. Also, Valmiki takes this opportunity to compare Ravana with Rama. So it is very important to understand the enemy elaborately so that the real hero can be appreciated. So he presents a contrasting picture here. So Ravana stands for what we can call the principle or the philosophy of might is right. Rama, on the other hand, stands for the philosophy of right is might. Lanka, the people of Lanka, the Rakshasas and everything around reflects Ravana's philosophy of might is right. Also, Valmiki also wants to show us that Hanuman is neither affected by Lanka's opulence nor by all the temptations all around. That is another reason. So when one is internally rich, one is not swayed by the outer riches of life. Hanuman, again, is a great example of that. Another important, striking message that comes out of Valmiki's description of Lanka and Hanuman's journey, the tour through Lanka, is also that the stark contrast between Vishaya Kama and Bhagavat Kama. Vishaya Kama versus Bhagavat Kama, which is true prema. We get to see the purity and the great sacrifice embedded in real love. And we get to see the depravity, the decadence, the corruption, and the abuse that is embedded in Vishayakama, in lust. We get to see that Ravana and the Rakshasas stand for raw animalistic lust. And we get to see the contrast between that and real unconditional love, which involves boundless sacrifice. Hanuman continues his survey of Lanka. He is mentally, so again, he is Ramadhuta here. He is mentally noting down every intricate detail as he surveys, as he is entering the inner city of Ravana. Then something dazzling catches Hanuman's eye. Something which is astoundingly beautiful. To Hanuman, it is possibly more beautiful than everything that is there on the ground. This beauty happens to be in the sky, not on the ground. Tatassa madhyagatam amshumantam jyotsnavitanam mahadudvamantam dadashadiman divibhanumantam goshte vrisham mattaviva brahmantam. A series of beautiful shlokas here. So exquisite, so beautiful. This is, I wouldn't say Valmiki's description of the beauty called the moon. It is Hanuman's experience of the beauty called the moon. Tatassa madhyagatam anshumantam jyotsna vitanam mahadudvanumantam tadasya dhiman divi bhanumantam goshte vrisham mattamiva brahmantam. Here, Valmiki calls Hanuman Dadasha Dhiman. Hanuman is looking at, there is everything on the ground, the structures all around, the structures of Vishwakarma, the great city of Lanka, is so very astounding and captivating. But Hanuman looks at the moon and That is even more captivating to Hanuman, more beautiful. Basically, he also demonstrating one simple message here. In life, simple things are a lot more beautiful. And nothing like beauty of nature. Hanuman is looking at the sky and Dadashadiman Divi Bhanumantam Tatassa Madhyagatam Anshumantam. Right at the center of the sky, it seems the full moon glowing beautifully. And while it is glowing, it is also spreading its luminescence all over. In fact, Hanuman realizes that all the beauty on the ground is only because of the beauty of the moon. No, all the glow of the structures is only because of the luminescence spreading from the moon. The moon was shining and was shining like said, Goshte Vrisham Mattamiva Brahmanta. The moon was shining like a bull amongst the cows. The fact that Hanuman is able to relish the beauty of the moon should give us a very important message. Here is Hanuman on a very difficult mission to discover Mother Sita. He is in the enemy camp, trying to avoid attention, and he is frantically searching for Sita yet to discover where she is. Now, it is not easy for someone on such a mission to relish the beauty of the moon. If we have to relish nature's beauty, the mind needs to be calm and composed. Otherwise, it is impossible. Imagine we are driving up a mountain on a ghat road and we are dreadful of all the dangers lurking. There is no way we can enjoy the scenery all around. We can look down the beautiful valley, all the greenery, the lush greenery, but we can only enjoy if there is no fright in the mind, if there are no agitations. What this shows, that very fact that Hanuman is able to look at moon's beauty and relish it, means he is calm, composed, with no agitations whatsoever. He is on the most difficult mission. Some may call it mission impossible. Not for Hanuman. He is yet to discover Sita. He has not yet tasted success. So one might wonder how he can stay calm. But it is Hanuman. Hamso yata rajata pancharastaha, simho yata mandara kandarastaha, viro yata garbita kunjarastaha, chandro vibhrabaraja tathava bharastaha. Again, what a wonderful construction of glorious phrases here. Hamso yata rajata pancharastaha, simho yata mandara kandarastaha, viro yata garbita kunjarastaha, chandro vibhabraja tathava bharastaha. Just like a beautiful swan, a strikingly white swan in a silver cage. The moon was looking at like that beautiful white swan. Simho yata mandara kandarastaha. Like a majestic lion in the cave of Mount Mandara. Viro yata garvita kunjarastaha. Viraha, like a valiant, a victorious warrior mounted on a proud elephant. Chandro vibhabraja tathava bharastaha. The beautiful moon was looking the same. Stitaha kakudyaniva tikshna shrungo mahachala shweta ivocha shrangaha hastiva jambunada baddha shrangaha daraja chandro paripurna shrangaha. Shringa means horn. Just like the full moon with its horn-like spot was shining like a bull with sharp horns. Like the white Himalayan mountain with its lofty peaks. like an elephant with gold-plated tusks. Shilalayam prapya yatha mrugendro, maharanam prapya yatha gajendraha, rajyam samasadya yatha narendra, tatha aprakasho vinaraja chandraha. Just like the moon was shining like a lion mounted on a rock, like a lordly elephant in a deep forest, like a king who has just attained a huge kingdom. Lokasya papani vinashayantam, mahodadim chapi samedayantam, bhutani sarvani virajayantam, tadasya shitam shumathaviyantam. Lokasya papani vinashayantam. The moon, the full moon, as it was rising, Hanuman saw the moon spreading light, dispelling darkness, warding off the sorrows and agonies of the people. Mahodadichapi samedhayantam, and bhutani sarvani virajayantam, illuminating all every place, and also it was also causing the swelling of the ocean. Now people may be wondering here, Hanuman is not just relishing the moon, he's enjoying it so much. And as we were going through these verses and Hanuman's experience of the moon, we may wonder what is happening here. We have to very carefully look at Hanuman's experience here. Lokasya papani vinashayantam, mahodadim chapi samedhayantam, bhutani sarvani virajayantam, tadasya shitam shumathaviyantam, shilatalam prapya yatha magendraha, maharanam prapya yatha gajendraha, rajyam samasadya yatha narendra, tatha prakasho viraraja chandraha. Why is the Chandra suddenly getting all the attention of Hanuman? To Hanuman, this is not an ordinary Chandra. Durita Timira Chandraha, Dushta Kanjata Chandraha, Sura Kuvalaya Chandraha, Surya Vamshavi Chandraha, Swatana Nivaha Chandraha, Shatru Rajiva Chandraha, Pranata Kumuda Chandraha, Patumam Ramachandraha. This is not an ordinary Chandra for Hanuman. You and I may look at a Chandra and may only look at the ordinary beauty of Chandra. For Hanuman, this Chandra is his Ramachandra. This Chandra shining up in the sky is also a great sign. For Hanuman, his Rama is guiding him through the night. This is Ramachandra. No wonder his experience, otherwise an ordinary moon, lokani papani vinashayantam. Not an ordinary moon can ward off the agonies of people. It is not the rise of this moon that is causing the warding off the agonies. It is the rise of the Chandra called Ramachandra. Lokani papani vinashayantam, mahodadim chapi samedhayantam, bhutani sarvani virajayantam. Who can really dispel the darkness all across and illuminate? Not this ordinary Chandra, it is Ramachandra. It is this rise of Shilatalayam prapya yatha mrugendraha, who is like the lion standing atop a mountain. Maharanam prapya yatha gajendraha, like a Gajendra. Rajyam samasadya yatha narendra, the one who has conquered a kingdom. Rama is about to conquer this kingdom of Lanka, so he can see this moon as the Ramachandra who is about to conquer Lanka. Stathapakrasho viraja chandram. So therefore, Hanuman is delighted. His experience of the moon is also shows us that he is being guided by none other than Ramachandra himself. And Valmiki continues, Prakasha Chandrodaya Nashta Doshaha, Pravrittarakshaha, Pishitasha Doshaha, Ramabhiramo, Ramabhiramerita Chitta Doshaha, Sparka Prakasha Bhagavan Prashodaha. Bhagavan Prashodaha. Here, the evening, as it becomes darker and darker and darker, it's becoming divine and divine because of the beauty of this moon. Prakasha Chandrodaya Anushta Doshaha. At the time of the moon rise, the darkness of the dusk is completely dispelled, pravrittarakshaha pishitasha. The dark deeds of all the Rakshasas will also soon disappear. This moon shining brightly is also indicating that the dark deeds of the Rakshasas will soon come to an end. There is going to be complete eradication of the darkness. And Ramerita Chitta Dosha. Here, there are two ways to understand this phrase. Ramerita Chitta Dosha. Rama are beautiful women. The beautiful women who are here in Lanka, Ramerita Chitta Dosha, their sorrows. Hanuman knows that in Lanka, Ravana has imprisoned thousands of Devakanyas. They are all in grief. And of course, the most prominent among them is none other than Sita, who is Rama. Rama's Sita is Rama. And all these Rama are all the beautiful women, the Devakanya, Chitta Dosha. They all have sorrow, being imprisoned. And soon, the rise of this moon is going to dispel, is going to eradicate their sorrow. Not the ordinary moon. Ramachandra is soon going to eradicate the Chitta Dosha of his Rama, which is none other than Sita Mata, and all the Rama, all the beautiful women, the Devakanya, imprisoned in Lanka. Chandra Prakashaschahi Paktramala, Vakrakshi Pakshamaksha Sunetramala, Vibhushananam cha Dadashamala, Shatahridanamiva Charumala. Hanuman is now starting to look around. Every house is going around as he is going into the inner city. And Chandra Prakashamstahi Vaktramala. He sees just beautiful faces, just like moon. Seems the women there are so very beautiful. Every face is like a moon. So therefore, there is not just one moon in the sky. There are several moons, a row of moons everywhere. Vakrakshi Pakshamascha Sunetramala. Every eye, it seems like a moon. Every eye with an eyebrow. A series of beautiful eyes at Hanuman. But the beauty here is, Hanuman is not tempted or captivated by any of these moons because he has Ramachandra with him. He doesn't need any ordinary Chandra. So therefore, there is no way that an ordinary Chandra can captivate him. He keeps going. Vibhushananam cha Dadarshamala. Ornaments after ornaments after ornaments. A series, a string of ornaments everywhere. Beautiful ornaments everywhere. Shatahridani meva charumala. Everything like lightning, a series, a row of lightnings all the way. But Hanuman is taking a look. It looks like everywhere he stops, it seems he looks at a beautiful face. A woman with a very beautiful face, but he says, this is very ordinary beauty. This is not the beauty I am after. He goes after another beautiful face, moonlight. This is too ordinary because he is in search of the beauty of all beauties, the real beauty, Sita Mata, and therefore he is going around. He's going after looking at every face that he comes across. Goes on and on in his discovery, and he says finally, Valmiki says, Natveva Sitam Paramabhijatam Patistete Rajakule Prajatam Natam Prapulamiva Sadhu Jatam Tadashatanvi Manasabhijatam. There is no Sita to be found. He has possibly seen hundreds and hundreds of faces going around, yet that one face that he is waiting to see, he is yet to discover. Natveva Sitam Paramabhijatam. That's Sita Mata. Patistite Rajakule Prajatam, who is the very embodiment of all the virtues of the Rajakula. Latam Prapullamiva, the most slender, the most beautiful looking. Sadhu Jatam Dadarshatan Manasabhijatam, one who was born, who did not take ordinary birth like humans. Sita, Mother Sita did not take birth like from the womb of a woman like ordinary humans. That glorious Sita, he is yet to discover. Hanuman, he's now starting to get a little worried because as he keeps going into the inner city, he's still not able to locate Sanatane Vartamane Samnivishtham Ramekshanam Tam Adaravivistham Bhatturmanah Shri Madhunu Pravishtham Sthibhyo Varabhyasta Sada Vishishtham. Again, he's here glorifying Sita at the same time trying to see where she is. Sanatane Vartamane Samishtham. No, that Sita, Hanuman couldn't see the Sita who is ever on the path of Dharma, eternal Dharma. Ramekshanantam Adhanabhivishtam, who always has Rama in her mind and nobody else, constantly who is contemplating, connected with Rama. Bhattur Manaha Shri Madhanu Pravishtam, the one who has entered in Rama's mind. Rama is constantly contemplating on Sita. Sita is constantly contemplating on Rama. Now Hanuman is unable to now find that Sita. Sthibhyo Varabhyasta Sadavsishta. She who is the supreme amongst all the women. That Sita Mata, he is unable yet to find. And Valmiki says, Sita Vapashyan Manujeshwarasya Ramasya Patni Padatambarasya Babhuva Dukka Vihita Shirasya Plavangamo Manda Ivachirasya. Plavangamo Manda Ivachirasya. Hanuman is now starting to get a little bit worried while he is reached inside the inner city of Ravana. He looked at possibly hundreds of houses, several kinds of palaces. He came across hundreds of women, but is yet to discover Sita. Hanuman starts to ponder, will I or won't I? As Hanuman keeps pondering, let us continue to pray for that very moment when Hanuman will sight the glory of all glories, will have the vision of Mother Sita. But for that, we need to wait for possibly 1 or 2 more weeks. Until then, Sarvam Sri Krishna promised.